first session? Good. So, your first session was your S&T. Now, second session we will start with your essay. Right. So, there are two things here. First of all, we shifted essay to your first few initial classes because it is the high yielding area. When I say high yielding area, it means that your minimum effort and maximum marks, right? Plus we wanted something little light to start with. After S&T you are doing a GS subject. Essay is something you don't have to use much of your brains, right? It is very interactive. It will involve certain kind of brainstorming, but again it's not that you have to understand some concept, right? You have to learn some mechanism, right? We will be doing very general things, right? Now I just want to have an idea how many of you have attended my previous UPSC essay lectures. Anybody giving UPSC? Okay. And anyone who might have attended TSPSC lectures of mine essay? Anyone? Okay. Anybody from the online? Online, how to Zoom thing? Okay, anyhow, we'll see. Acha, okay, monitor. Right, just give me a moment. Anybody from the online part? Okay. So now one thing I want to make clear, that when we are studying for your essay, UPSC, APPSC or TSPSC, although the paper is same but approach is very different, right? There might be a possibility state exam everybody tries to maximize their marks of getting a job, right? And almost sometimes people are giving your UPSC also, but one thing you have to remember is the way we approach, way we structure, right, the type of topics which we are covering are entirely different for these three things, right? Every paper has some of its demands, right? There is a style of writing depending upon which paper you are giving, right? So we have to learn those things. So if you have attended UPSC or TSPSC, please leave that information at home, right? We will start from scratch here, right? Now our aim is that we have to maximize our marks in APPSC essay, right? We have a full 150 marks paper, and through the years it has been seen that people are struggling with this paper, right? Ironically, it is the most, you can say, the easiest part, but again people are not scoring here, right? Where we should be scoring, at least 120, in the range of 90 to 120, people are struggling, people are getting 60 marks. In fact, few days back I was talking to one of my old students, old mentee. He had good marks in GS last year, right? But essay he didn't prepare well, right? He thought that okay, GS if he is going good, so essay, he was my UPSC mentee, so essay also he will do good, right? But again his essay marks were very low, they were around 50, right? So this means that there is a proper manner in which you have to approach your APPSC essay, right? It's not that you have covered your GS paper, you have knowledge, or probably you have given a UPSC exam, you can write APPSC essay, right? Every paper is different, approach is different, right? So all these things we will be keeping in mind as we move in your classes, right? So now today we will be seeing general structure of essay, and we will be discussing it with one example, right? Now if I talk about your sources for the paper, see in your class itself we have around 8 classes, right? So today is your first class. Apart next 7 classes, almost 4 essays per class we will be discussing, and for all the 4 essays which are being discussed in the class, you will get a model key also, right? We will be explaining whatever. So first of all, we will discuss in the class. I want your involvement, I want your views, I want your interaction, and after the class you will get a model key also, like whatever we have talked in class, right? So every day, say in your APPSC we have 7 genres. Your current affairs is there, your socio-political, your socio-economic, right? Your civic awareness is there, your reflective topics are there, and socio-environmental issues are there, right? So 7 genre are there. For every genre we will discuss your 4 topics in the class, and after that some practice questions can also be given, right? So this will be the flow of classes. Secondly, I would encourage each one of you to at least write one essay, full length essay, after we are done with the one class. I will be available after the class, I will be available before the class also. Please get your essays checked, right? Essay as such, when you attend your classes, it seems very easy, right? Whatever I am telling, if you listen to me at the end of the lecture, you will feel confident, yes, I can write an essay, right? But sitting down, writing it for 1 hour, it is a very different ball game together. When you sit down, then you realize it's not that easy, right? The way you have to connect different paragraphs, way you have to brainstorm about a particular issue, they are very different, right? So I would encourage, I'll be available, there is a provision of one-to-one mentorship, you write, right? And don't worry, whatever is the quality of your essay, I am here to improve that, right? I will not judge your essay, I will not say that okay, this is a very bad essay or something. We will improve. Even if it is the worst essay you have written, we will improve in the next classes. And even after 7 classes, 8 classes of your essay gets over, I am here only, right? You can message me on Telegram any point of time. You have written any essay, even if it is not discussed in the class, you write an essay and message me, right? I have written, you send me a PDF file, I will check it, or you can come to the institution and get it checked. Right? The main point is, we want that your marks should be in the range of 90 to 120, right? And I am here to guide you in that direction, right? I want that in minimum amount of effort, right? You attend these 8 classes, and after that, probably for next 2-3 weeks, just 1 hour, 2 hour you devote to essay, and these marks are your guaranteed marks. Right? You don't have to spend too much time as for your GS paper. Every GS paper has a very vast syllabus, right? You have to, obviously have to give more, time to those, study more books about that, but essay, you will be good to go after these 8 classes, but plus it will require your effort also, right? And to correct you, to guide you, to mentor you, I am here. Even after the mains, the whole main strategic program also gets ended, I am here. You can message me anytime. Right? You can let me know that okay, these are my issues, or this is the essay topic I saw online, I don't know how to start or what type of dimensions I have to write, I will tell you, right? So these things you have to keep in mind while we go on in our classes, because my classroom teaching will not be complete till I see your essays, right? I want to know at which stage you are in the essay writing and how I can make you improve those essays, right? So avail this opportunity, because one-to-one interaction is very, if you see, there is a very less guidance. Your any kind of competitive examination, it is your effort plus your outside guidance also, and I am here to help you out, right? Okay. So moving forward now, when we are talking about essay, see, sources will come from your GS preparation and your current affair preparation. Your APPSC topics are very straightforward. Even in fact, whatever genre they have divided the essays, they are very straightforward, right? If you go through your previous year questions, say in your current affair genre, they have asked about Chinese aggression, they have asked about surrogacy, right? Very straightforward things are there. Or they have asked about your, your personal, in your reflective topics, they are asked you about your first public speaking experience. Very straightforward questions are there, right? So your knowledge to write in these things will come from your GS only. If you are well prepared in your GS, if you are well prepared in your current affairs, you will have that content, right? So from your side, keep in touch with your current affair, whatever is happening, at least in 1 year, right? Structure we will be discussing here, but from your side you have to do a little bit of extra practice where you do your GS preparation nicely and you do your current affair nicely. The same sources will be used for your essay also, right? So sources, this, other than that, see, books, if you talk about books, I don't think so they are much beneficial. Rather than you pick up current affair magazine and read through the current affairs, that will be more than enough. We will be giving you model answers for your essays also, you can cover from that. Other than that, don't get caught in the books, etc. You don't need to spend your money on multiple books for your essay. Your class handouts plus your these monthly magazines will be more than enough, right? Okay. So now next we will be talking about your structure. So what I have seen in the aspirants is that why they are struggling with the essays, not because there is dearth of content or there is dearth of understanding of the topic, there is problem with the structure of the essay, right? Essay itself, your maximum marks, right, or your soul of your essay lies in the structure, right? If you go through your APPSC syllabus also, I have talked about it in the orientation class also. So they have given certain caveats that what we are expecting in your essay. So they have straight away told that we need coherence and sequential order in your essay, right? Coherence means some logic has to be there. Sequential order means your thoughts should have a proper structure. It's not that they are haphazard. If you are discussing something, that you discuss positive impact of particular topic first and then negative, then again positive, then again negative, right? So there is a haphazard placement of content is there. There is no proper order is there, right? So those things are the most important in your essay, right? Next, your obviously language, if you talk about, it has to be very simple and lucid, right? You don't need to use heavy quotes or very flowery language. Simple English language would do good, right? Provided you are grammatically correct, right? That grammatically correctness is very important in your paper. Other than that, it's okay. If you are using simple words, if you are using simple lines, that's good to go. But you cannot have a spelling mistake, you cannot be grammatically incorrect. So that will be a big blunder, right? So these are few things which I have noticed why people are not scoring good marks, because yesterday only one of my student, he sent, I'll give you an example, he sent me an essay on the topic, should your reservation system should be ended, right? So now this topic, almost 3-4 pages were just devoted to how the caste system evolved and how the reservation system in your India evolved, right from the British time to the present times. So now the essay topic was not about caste system, essay topic was not how reservation system evolved, right? These will be a part of essay, but main question was, should it be abolished or not, right? That topic, that main demand of your essay topic was done at the end, right? So now there is no order, no coherence, right? There is no relevance to the topic here. They asked something else and you wrote something else, and when you come back, you feel, when your scorecard comes in, you feel that, oh, I wrote 5-6 pages, still I didn't score much, because you didn't attend to the demand of the essay, you were not coherent enough, order of your essay was not good, where your evolution of your reservation system or about your caste system, how it evolved, it should have been a very small paragraph probably at the start, that's it. Rest of the essay should have been about your arguments for or against, that should this reservation system should be abolished, right? So these things when go missing, your marks go down, right? So here in the class we will focus on this thing, we will have a proper structural framework which we can use in any essay topic possible, right? We will have a framework. You get any topic under the sun, any topic from your internet, in your exam, right, or we are practicing here, you put that framework, you will automatically know which kind of dimension and which order they have to be discussed, right? So now, if we talk about the framework, first problem which student faces is how to start an essay, right? So one thing you have to keep in mind, essay is very different from your GS paper, right? GS paper you usually will start with a definition probably, right? Or you will just introduce in 1 or 2 lines. Essay is not your GS answer, right? You might have read your editorials in newspapers, right? Or you might have read different stories also, right? So what happens in those things is your author slowly builds a suspense before coming to the point, right? He engages your attention, right? He writes something very interesting at the start so that the reader should go till the end of that story, right? If it is a story, if it is editorial, same thing we have to adopt in the essay. Right? We do not have to start with a definition, we do not have to start with a very monotonous, boring line about the topic, we will make it very interesting. So, we will start your essay with anecdote. See, whatever framework we are discussing here, it is tried and tested, it has worked in almost every examination. When I gave my UPSC examination, for like 2 consecutive mains, I had 154, 157 with the same pattern, and one of my TSPSC, few of my TSPSC students, they have followed it, and APPSC students, they have followed the framework and they have scored marks. So this is a tried and tested manner. If you learn this framework, nobody can stop you from getting good marks in essay. So be very careful here, right? Focus on the board. I will make you write down all the points here today. Other than that, other classes you will get handouts, but focus on understanding how to, deal with the essay. That's very important, right? So now you start your essay with an anecdote. Now the question is, what is an anecdote? See, anecdote is a interesting account, right? Which can be fictitious, which can be non-fictitious, which can be from real life, through which you start your essay, right? So it's a short story kind of thing, right? Say for example, there is an essay. Just give me a moment, I think I have. Yeah. So this is one of my essay I had written during my UPSC preparation. So topic was empowerment of women in society, is it a myth or reality, right? So this is the topic. So one person might be there who would probably start with defining what is women empowerment, right? That's a very boring start, right? Now how to make it interesting, how to bind the attention of the examiner. See, one thing you should remember in any exam you are giving, that examiner is checking 20 to 30 papers in a day, right? You have to bind his attention, right? That will make your paper different from whatever other people are writing, right? So now instead of starting the essay from your definition of women empowerment, is started with a small story. So just go through it. So I have started flashback to India of 1990s. In Calcutta city, a young 19-year-old girl was excited about start of her college life, right? So I am building the story. I have not introduced who this girl is. I have not introduced what kind of story I am going to tell, but just an interesting start which is creating a suspense in the mind of examiner that okay, what she will be writing in the next line. Studying new books and exploring the new arenas of knowledge was what she liked the most, and the college was going to be an exciting chapter in her life. So I am trying to convey that it is a situation in 1990s where a 19-year-old girl, she has sparkles in her eyes, she has big dreams, she consumes knowledge a lot, she wants to study further, right? So I am trying to convey these things. Now next is, alas, her Marwadi parents had other plans. So you can see in this anecdote, not just I am telling a story, but I am telling it in a manner like I am conversing with the examiner, right? I am trying to put some emotional story here, right? So full stops, exclamation signs are indicating that I am telling what kind of, tone of essay is there, right? How I am presenting this very simple. I can tell the story in 2 lines also, right? But I am expanding it, making it interesting so that your examiner feels that, okay, how this person will be attaching or relating the story to the topic. Moving further, alas, her Marwari parents had other plans who had already found a suitable match for her. But the girl was not ready to bid goodbye to her dreams unceremoniously. 2 days before her marriage, she sold her diamond earrings and with help of an American couple which she had befriended earlier, she managed to book a ticket to America. This is a real story, right? Now, after reaching America, first she did odd jobs like cleaning at restaurants, but finally she was able to procure a job as a caretaker to a 80-year-old woman. Impressed with her hard work and loyalty, she offered to sponsor her studies. After this movement, there was no looking back for this young girl. She took up a course in biotechnology and with the subsequent scholarship, she procured a doctoral degree. During her research paper, she was able to make a chemical composition which is being used by many leading cosmetic companies like Imami, etc. in the creams, in the anti-aging creams. The young girl is billionaire today. Meet Chanda Zaveri. She is a real woman, right? So you can see how I have presented a story of women empowerment. Rather than defining what is women empowerment, through a small story I have indicated that this is the girl. I created a suspense, I weaved a story very slowly, build it up, and then at the end I told that meet Chanda Zaveri, the woman behind the collagen based anti-aging molecule used in cosmetic industry. Chanda was a 90s girl who had to rebel to write her success story. Since then, has the position of women changed? Question mark. Are they empowered enough to take decisions for them? Question mark. Or is it just a rosy picture of women empowerment that we have painted? Right? So, at the end, after her story, I have posed few questions which are related to the topic. What is the topic saying? Empowerment of women in society, is it a myth or reality? I told Chanda Zaveri's story. Then I am posing the question that she was a girl in 1990s. After that, has the picture changed? Has more women got empowerment? Is it a reality today or is it a myth today? Right? So through this, I have catered to the demand of the topic in a very interesting manner. And if you compare with some other person who just in one paragraph told that this is women empowerment, probably Mahatma Gandhi or Swami Vivekananda has told these things about your women empowerment. That's also right, that's not wrong. But our aim is to write the right thing also, but also write something which is different from other people. Right? When you are giving competitive exam, you have to remember this golden rule. You don't have to be best, you have to be better than the other person. If you are better than your competitors, you will top the exam. You will get in top 10 ranks, you will get your service of your choice. Right? So, how to make your answers different, how to make your essay different, this is one thing. You give a interesting start. Now, this was a real story, right? But anecdote can be a fiction also, right? You create characters. That this is the girl, she was being forced to marry or something like that. You name her anything, you name her Isha, you name her Maya, anything, whatever you want, right? Then you write down a fictitious story which is related to women empowerment, right? And then at the end of the day, at the end of your anecdote, you again post some questions which are related to the topic and which you will be addressing in the essay topic. Are we getting this? Are you clear about the anecdote part? Any issue there? I will repeat again if you have not understood, because these things, see, today's class is very, very important. You won't be able to understand the next lectures if you are not clear with the framework. Framework has to be very crystal clear in your minds, because if this is clear, your half your battle is won. Rest depends upon your practice. If framework, if you are knowing, you can write any essay like I told you, right? Anecdote is clear. So you are giving an interesting start, and as we move further in the classes, for every topic I have prepared a key where anecdotes are available. For each essay there will be an anecdote, but in the class first I would want you to give some, interesting starts. Now this can be a fiction, this can be from life of a person, right? This can be from news also. Right? Say for example, there was an essay on your health system, right? That the situation of health system in India, right? So now how to start this essay? Again, I want to write an interesting story here. I am just giving you an example so that the concept of anecdote becomes clear. So now if the question is situation of health system in India, so now here you can pick up different news and project it in an anecdote form. Say for example, during 2020 COVID times, there was a report that lot many people have been pushed down the poverty line, right? Lot many people lost their jobs, right? Financial, whatever savings they had, they got depleted because somebody got sick or something like that, right? On the other hand, there was a news about your Oxfam report. Have you read Oxfam report? Are you aware of this news? So Oxfam report, it talks about inequality, right? So in India, they have told that top 1% of the population is controlling more than 0.5% of your wealth in India, right? So there are two different news. So what you can do here is, you write about you're writing about your status, topic is status of health system in India, right? So I was talking about COVID 2020, so because people got sick, right, they depleted their, savings. So at that point of time, there was a news in Odisha, if you might have been aware of it, it became very viral. A person in Odisha, his wife died, right? Now there was no provision of the hospital there, first of all, to take care of her, and also after she died, he had to get the death certificate, also you have to confirm from the doctors also. So from his village up to the city where the hospital was present, he bound his wife's body in some cloth and travelled hundreds of kilometers to go to a hospital, right? So you can see the situation. And on the other side, when you see the Oxfam report, there are people who are gathering all the wealth, right? And through this, what they are getting the best health services here, right? So now these two news you can use in the anecdote, that on one side there is a person in Odisha who is taking his death wife on bicycle for thousands of kilometers to reach a hospital, right? And on the other side there are rich people, right, who are getting advantages in private hospitals, right, who are jumping the queues, who are getting the best doctors, best facilities, best diagnostic techniques, right? So there is a paradox when we see a status of our health system. Paradox is when two very opposite situations are there and they are coexisting with each other. On one side, a person doesn't have availability of ambulance, and on the other side there is a rich person who probably in every 2 months gets his expensive diagnostic test done, right? So this is a paradox in the health system. So you can start your essay in this manner rather than defining that, okay, what is health or what is the health system in India, primary, secondary, tertiary, quaternary healthcare is there, right? Instead of that, you picked up something from the news, weaved a story around it, and you wrote an interesting start for your essay, right? Are we getting this? So from your news also you can pick up something and you elaborate in a news form, in an anecdote form. Are we clear here? Right? Again, say there is a question about, say, globalization. Right? There is an essay topic about regarding globalization. Now this I attempted when I was preparing. So I attempted this topic, globalization. Now I could not remember a news, I could not remember an example from real life. So I created a fictitious story. So in this fictitious story, a person is there, right? So I showed, say, X person is there. So I showed how globalization has impacted his entire life, right? Entire day routine has been impacted by globalization. So I started that, okay, when this X person gets up in the morning, the first thing he opens is phone. That phone is, say, Apple phone is there, iPhone is there. So now this is a company which is US based but assembled probably in China, right? Then he gets up, goes to get his coffee. That coffee beans have been, sourced from probably, say, your Colombia or from your, other Brazil part, from other part of the world. Now he gets ready, he wears clothes. They are from a designer who is not an Indian. Say he is wearing something from H&M or from Zara, right? They are not Indian brands. They have been brought here through globalization process, right? Now next he books a cab for himself, right? Now cab is Uber. Again you are seeing that something from outside, because of globalization, that company has come up here. So now he has the facility that he can book a cab with touch of his thumb, right? He can book a cab. But now again, if you see a deeper meaning, that has been possible because of globalization. Next, when he is taking the cab, going to a company, again that is an MNC company. Say he is working in Big Four, he is working in KPMG, he is working in Deloitte. Again these MNCs have come up in India after your globalization, right? So through this story, what I am trying to say, instead of just defining globalization, I am telling an interesting story that globalization is not just a term. If we see in our life, from waking up till sleeping at the night, right, we will encounter globalization in every part of our life, right? So this gives a very interesting start to your essay, right? Examiner will see that the student has put in some effort in writing, right? He has understood the essence of essay writing, rather than making it very monotonous, very general, right? Making it look like a GS answer. You've actually made it an effort to write in an interesting manner. And always remember, essay is something where you should feel you are conversing with the examiner, right? You are telling something very interesting, right? If globalization question would have been in your GS answer, say, you will not tell this story, you will just define globalization. You will write the positive effects, you will write negative effects, and then you will conclude your answer. This is not essay. Essay is about your thoughts, right? About your views. And in your GS answer, your word limit is very low, right? You have to constrict your answer here. Here you have 800 words. One essay you have 1 hour. Here there has to be a free flow of expression, free flow of thoughts, what you think about it, right? How interesting you can make this essay. You start with an anecdote, your essay for sure will be different from other people, right? And mind you, this art comes with practice, right? It's not that today I have told you start writing your essay with anecdotes, tomorrow every essay will be there with anecdote. You have to practice. You pick up different topics from, you pick up different topics from your previous year questions today, right? Start thinking of different anecdotes from which I can start, right? Say for example, surrogacy as a topic was there, right? search for any current affair news which is interesting, which you can quote here. There have been so many news where your foreign couples have come in India, they have commissioned a surrogate mother, and then probably they found out the sex of the child was not favorable, or the child had some genetic disease, and they have left the surrogate mother here. Right? There is a lot of black market surrogacy happening in India, and there are many movies also which got made, right, on this problem. Some Hindi movies, I think 2-3 movies have been made on this topic, right? So again, the question is very simple. They're talking about surrogacy, but it's your job to make it interesting. And you start practicing from today. Today you are aware of the fact that I have to start, give my essay an interesting way, right? I have to write an anecdote. So today go back, see the previous year questions and see which story you can connect. You write just the anecdotes. You come after the class and ask me that, ma'am, is this anecdote right? Or what else I can write in this, right? I will give you options. Even in your model essays, which you will start getting from tomorrow, I have given options. You either write this anecdote or you write this anecdote, right? The very elaborate keys are there. But practice from your side has to be there. Anecdote, this orientation of writing in anecdote at the start will not come, in 1 day or 2 days. You have to practice for it, right? So practice is very important when we talk about mains examination. Prelim, we say revision is very important, multiple revisions. If you are revising the same concept again and again, you will do good in your prelims part. When your mains come, mains means practice, right? If you want to win this battle of your mains examination, you have to bleed here, so that you don't bleed in your main battle. So you inculcate this habit that every day I have to write GS answer for half an hour, or give half an hour for your essay or 1 hour for your essay. If you are practicing, nobody can stop you from clearing the exam, right? But if you are just reading, revising, and you feel that just by revising things, just by reading notes or books, you will clear mains examination, that's a myth, right? Practice has to be there, and now you have an opportunity that there is a person available. I am available, Gautam sir is there, other teachers are there. They will correct your answers, they will correct whatever you have written, they will solve whatever doubts are there. And don't worry, even if it is a silly doubt, please ask it. And I always say no doubt is silly, right? Whatever question is there in your mind, please ask. In the class, if you are shy enough, please come after the class, I will be available there, right? But I want that after your 8 classes, each and everyone should be very well versed with the art of writing essays. Every person who is sitting there, at least I should make sure that you should be getting in the range of 90 to 120, they should be getting, right? So from my side, I am doing my duty. From your side, please write essays, right? At least one. If you are busy, if you do not have time, at least one you can write through the 8 classes, right? I would encourage, if 8 classes are there, every day one essay you show it to me, right? Anyhow, coming back, anybody from the online? Just 1 minute. This is not touch screen, I guess. Just give me a moment. Chart ko how to open? Chart. Online. Can it not be projected on the screen, this chart, so that I can pull down there? No connection. No connection is there. Just scroll upwards. I'll just see, because most of the students, 54 students are online only. Just scroll down, online students essay, anecdote. How to form anecdote I'm reading, just be a little slow. Online essays. Okay, so 2 questions are there. How to think of anecdote instantly, like I told you. First of all, this will come with practice. We will be giving you model answer also. They will come from your news, right? You think of related news. They will come from your life of different personalities, or they can come from your GS part also. These things will become more clear as we move forward. As we discuss different essays, it will be more clear. Now, the online student, where to send the essay? This is the Telegram ID of me, personal ID, S0390. This is 0, not O. S0390, and even if you people are busy or something, you can message me here, but write down your batch and the essay, like, okay, this is the essay I have sent, right? I will correct it and send you online. Is it clear for the online students? Just type it here, S0390 in the reply. To all, everyone. S in capital. Telegram ID. Okay. So moving forward, so anecdote part is clear now, how to start your essay, right? So anecdote is nothing but an interesting account. You make a fictitious story, you make a story out from your side also, like I told you in your globalization part. Any person, you make a story. From news you pick up, you make it into elaborate story, or you have read, because see, from Gandhiji's life there are multiple stories, from different personalities, from say Dr. Kalam's life there are multiple stories, right? So from their life just pick up something which is related to your topic, and as we move further I will give you lot of examples, right? So you will understand. So slowly you will be able to write anecdotes for your essays, right? Can we move forward? Okay. So now, we are discussing about your framework or your structure of essay, and this particular essay which I had shown, my essay which I had shown, this I had written very long time, but it was good enough. You can message me on Telegram, I will send you the PDF file of this essay. So now framework we are talking about. First we have talked about anecdote, right? This anecdote part is done. Now when we write anecdote, like you have seen in the essay, we will pose some questions. Which are related to essay topic and which we will be writing in the essay, right? Like I was writing the women empowerment, I posed some question that okay, this was a girl in 90s, have we improved, right? What is the situation of women empowerment now? Is it a myth or is it a reality? And after you are done with it, you can write one line, let us discuss in the essay further, right? Like I told you, it is like a conversation between you and the examiner, right? It's not that technical or your very monotonous things. It is like a conversation. If you go through the newspaper editorials also, the people are slowly building whatever they are writing, and sometimes they are conversing with the reader also, right? So similarly, after you end with the anecdote, you pose some questions which you will be tackling in the further essay, right? And through that you tell the examiner also how I have connected the essay topic with this anecdote, whatever story I have written, right? And also you give insights that what to expect further, right? So after anecdote is done, after you have written the questions, next is your introduction part. Now what most of the students do is, what they are starting the essay is with introduction, right? Where they are defining the terms, where they are telling what the essay topic means, right? That introduction part they are writing at first. So we did a change, we started with anecdote, next we came to the introduction, where you will explain the meaning of key terms. meaning of the key terms which are appearing in the essay, right? If it is about women empowerment, now here you define women empowerment. What is the meaning of women empowerment? At what levels we are talking about your women empowerment, right? If the question is about globalization, here you write about what is your meaning of globalization, what is this term, right? So your introduction part will be telling the basic meaning of the terms which are used in the essay topic and basic meaning behind that particular topic, right? If the topic, again taking previous year question, they have asked about surrogacy, right? So now in the introduction part, you will tell what is surrogacy, what is the meaning, what are the components here, right? So you explain that mechanism, how your surrogacy is happening, right? Where the biological parents are giving their gametes, right? It is getting fertilized in the clinic and that fertilized zygote is being implanted in some other woman, right? So you explain the terms which are given there in the essay. That is your introduction part. Now your anecdote, because see, essay is of 800 words. And 50 marks is your number, which is out of which you will be giving marks. So now anecdote, please don't exceed more than 1 page, right? Just write around 100 words here, right? You have to be very judicious with the words also, right? You have 1 hour, but you have to write within 800 words also, right? You have to explain everything. So be very judicious at the amount of numbers. It's not that you have a very good anecdote and you are writing in 2 pages, 3 pages. Again, a wrong approach, right? You had a good vision that I will start with an anecdote, but you didn't care about time management. You didn't care about that anecdote is not where I will get all the marks, right? It's just a start, right? So you have to be taking care of multiple things. I have to give an interesting start, I have to take care of the time, I have to take care of the words, right? So sometimes this happens, some person might be there, he knows the entire framework, but he didn't had the concept of time management, he wasted too much time in introduction, too much time in anecdote, and by the time he came to the main essay topic, time was just half an hour left, right? So multiple things you have to keep in mind to score that 120 marks, to score 100 marks, right? It's not just the content you will get marks, no. You know the framework you will get marks, no. You know that you know how to manage your time, only that thing, right? But your content is poor again. So you have to keep a holistic approach that my content has to be good, my framework of the essay has to be good, and lastly time management has to be good. I should be knowing, and that will come with practice. When you practice 2-3 essays, you will know that 1 page covers 100 marks in my font size. So I have to stop there, right? I have to quickly wound up my anecdote, whatever I am writing, right? So these 3 things will decide what range of marks you are getting. Sometimes the person has watched a video of similar framework, right? But marks are still low because you have not cared about the content, you have not cared about the time. Not cared about the main demand of the question. Main demand of the question is not write an anecdote on surrogacy, right? They've asked about the surrogacy as a holistic topic. Anecdote is just aiding you to get those extra marks from other person. It's not the whole essay, right? So these things you have to keep in mind when you are preparing for your essay topics, right? Okay, can you move further? Right? So your second part is your introduction, where you introduce the basic concepts of that essay, particular essay topic. Are we clear here? Right? I gave you an example, you define surrogacy, you define women empowerment, whatever topics are there, you just define the key terms. Clear? Okay. So now anecdote is done, introduction is done. Next part comes is your body of your essay. And introduction part, try to quickly cover up in 75 to 100 words, right? And with practice you will know that okay, if I am writing in one page, I cover, in these many lines I cover 100 words, or these many pages, half a page I cover 75 words or something. This you have to see, depends on person to person. Some people are very small font size of their writing, they might complete 100 words even in half page, right? So these things you have to do it from your side, right? But please do be very judicious about the word limit, right? People do not manage their time well, they do not manage the word limit well, and that is why the low score is there, right? Okay, so now body of your essay, this carries your maximum marks, right? You have given an interesting start, good, you will get initial extra 4-5 marks extra from the other person. You have introduced the essay well, okay, again that extra 5-6 marks you will get. But the main, out of 50, right, 30 to 35 marks will depend on this part of the essay. Body of your essay, main soul of your essay will lie here, right? So now body of your essay, if we are talking about, first of all, it has to be relevant to the topic. Relevancy is very important. Please read the topic very carefully. Usually in your GS also or your essay paper also, what we do is we very quickly see the topic and just start writing the thing. That's a wrong practice. Your major decision, the major parameter for writing a good answer is you read the question nicely. You see what is the demand of the question. So what happens in stress conditions or in exam condition, we just sift through that particular question, and sometimes what happens is you read what you know, right? You have read about surrogacy, say negative part, you read in that manner only and your answer will have more negative points. Probably the question was not about writing the criticism of your surrogacy, right? You just wrote what you knew, not what the examiner was asking, right? So read the question very carefully, because your essay will be relevant only then. If you not understood the meaning, if you not understood the direction of that particular essay topic, right? Say I gave you an example, empowerment of women, myth or reality, right? So this topic says that you have to discuss both components, myth also, reality also. It's not just asking that, okay, if the essay topic would have been new women of India, the empowered women, right? So here your more focus would have been to show how the women in India is empowered, right? But if you see some other topic which is related, that empowerment of women, myth or reality, right? So you have to keep in mind that I am showing both the components. We will see how to show these particular things, but reading your essay topic very carefully, right? Because it will decide how relevant your body of your essay is, right? And here maximum marks will be there. So first thing which we have to keep in mind is being relevant, addressing the main demand of the topic. That is very important, right? Are we clear here? So that is one thing. So now your body of your essay, we will divide it into two parts. Thesis and antithesis. So now one problem which student faces while writing essay is, they write a very one-sided thing. Say for example, if the previous year question was about Chinese aggression into India, they will just explain how the aggression is happening. different dimensions, a holistic 360-degree understanding. What is the cause, what are the types of aggression, what is the impact of this, right? What is the background, historical background, that is missing, right? So you write the full 800 words just about how the aggression is happening. Okay, in Galwan it is happening, or in Sikkim, in Northeast they are coming up, they are renaming the states in Arunachal Pradesh, right? The cities they are renaming. You might be knowing, are you reading the newspapers regularly? Because for the first genre, that is current affair, your news context is very important, right? So in this essay it's very one-sided. You just talked about what type of Chinese aggression is coming. You didn't discuss what is the history behind it. You didn't discuss what are the causes. You didn't discuss what are the types also, right? Say Chinese aggression is not just about renaming something. We have different, in IR you might have read string of pearls theories there, right? How they are encircling India, right? Now there is a trade imbalance also. Through your economic power also they are capturing our market. So there are different ways in which Chinese aggression, it's not just about the army part. There are different ways in which they are trying to encircle India, right? Subdue India. So this, if you are writing just about the army part, you are writing a very one-sided essay. If you are not talking about what are the causes, what are the types, what is the impact now, what is the consequence now. So that becomes a very one-sided essay. In detail we will discuss tomorrow this very topic. Although a sample essay was given for this essay, but we will discuss it again tomorrow in detail, right? So what I am trying to say is, your body of your essay will be in two parts. First of all, thesis, antithesis. I will tell you what is thesis, antithesis, and in this we will have different subparts which will be applicable for any essay topic which comes. I'll just talk about the online queries in a minute. I'll just cover this part and then I'll take the queries. So now, if we talk about body of your essay, thesis part is there. Thesis part means which addresses the main demand. Of your essay. In your thesis part, first of all, historical background. See, historical background for any topic which comes up, right? Even if it is about artificial intelligence, even if it is about globalization, if it is about your surrogacy, if it is about your Chinese aggression, there will be some history, there will be some evolution. If it is an essay about democracy also, there will be some historical background. Say if we take example of democracy only, democracy is not that after we got independence suddenly democracy came about. Democracy as an institution was present since very long time. Even if we see in our ancient India, when we see our Vedic age or your this Harappan civilization, sabhas and samitis were there where there was some component of voting, right? Then in the 6th, have you gone through your ancient India, right? So in your 6th century BC, when your Gamsangs were there, republics were there, again a certain amount of democracy, not the whole institution where there is voting, there is EVM, I am not talking about, but there was some historical context there, right? Similarly, if we talk about your women empowerment, here the historical background would be about the status of women, right? How it evolved through different ages. In ancient India, what was the situation of women? Right? You write about different, say for example, there were even scholars like Gargi were there in ancient India, right? How in medieval India the situation of women empowerment decreased, right? There were the start of the institution of Parda in your Indian society began with your medieval times, right? Then in your modern India, specifically during the freedom struggle, Gandhiji made sure that there is participation. So now in this part of your essay, whatever topic comes, right, certain historical background you have to tell. Even say it is about Chinese aggression also, you have to tell about the historic ties with China. right? And they go very back. From the ancient times, we had travelers from there, right? Then, there was a trade of tea was always there. That was through the Silk Route also, the China was connected. So, there will always be some historical background or evolution of that particular thing. So, if we talk about AI also, right, we will cover this topic. AI also, it is not that it suddenly ChatGPT appeared from somewhere, right? There were, even if we go back to the ancient times also, there was an idea that okay, at some point of time machines will do work for us, right? There were different movies also on this particular thing, but that was very abstract at that point. It was something like a dream that at some point of time we will have screens here and we can just touch and something will happen, like in Matrix movies, right? But slowly there is a person named Alan Turing. He first gave this concept that there can be a concept of machine learning where machines will tell us, right? They will analyze all the data for ourselves. So there is an evolution of that particular thing. There is some historical background. So after introduction, your essay should have your historical background. That is compulsory, right? So now here what we are trying to do is, we are expanding the dimensions, right? We are trying to analyze it in a very holistic, very 360-degree manner. We are not just talking about that this is Chinese aggression. No, we are going little back to the history. We are seeing what is the root cause of this. If we see the root cause of Chinese aggression or mistrust, right, it started in your 1962 war. Before that, Pandit Nehru was talking about Hindi Chini bye bye, right? But that myth, that was a myth that got broken after your 1962 war. In fact, if you read certain books, it is said that Pandit Nehru was so sure about the friendship between India and China. He invested a lot in this. But after 1962, he took that war, that defeat to his heart, and very quickly his health deteriorated, right? And in next few years he died, because he was too, he had put in so much effort into that relationship, right? Just just a side story, you don't have to write that. So these kind of things you have to write down, that this is not something which happened overnight. Any concept if you take up, right, it will have some historical background, it will have some evolution story, that should come here, right? So here you start, after introduction, you write your historical background of a particular topic which is there, right? And as we move further in our essays, we will see for everything, we will see for environmental topics, for your history topics, like your cultural heritage part is also there, your civic awareness, your reflective topics, your economic topics, your political topics. We will see how we will connect it with the history part. So don't worry in the first class to know everything. Today we are just discussing in which order I expect you to write answers, right? How to write it, which type of content which we have to write it, we will discuss. Don't worry, we still have 7 classes. Full 1 week is there. From Monday to next Sunday we have a lot of time. We will be discussing a lot of things, right? But today, just keep it in your mind, imprint this framework in your mind. If this framework is there, your order will never be wrong, right? You pick up any essay topic, order has to remain same, right? So after anecdote, introduction, after anecdote, introduction, after introduction, body of your essay, and in the body of your essay, the thesis part, first we will start with historical background. And one very important thing I have to tell you, these all topics, anecdote, introduction, thesis, antithesis, is for your understanding. Please don't label your essay with these things. And I tell this thing numerous times in my essay, but still there will be 1 or 2 students who will come with the same thing in their essay. This is for your understanding, right? This has, this is just to tell you the order of your writing. You don't have to label your things. The examiner will not know what is thesis, right? Examiner will not know what is anecdote. This is for your understanding that we have termed these things. And your model essay keys will also have these headings for your understanding, right? You please skip these topics when you are writing this. Essay has to be very free flowing, right? You don't have to write in points, right? Essay has to be in paragraphs. Avoid writing headings. Some people do write headings in between, right? You can write, say for example, you are writing about, there's a general topic about cyber technology or AI. So probably in between somewhere you can write down that okay, AI, a boon or bane or something like that. Some interesting heading you can give, plus, but please don't write body of your essay, thesis, antithesis. And this might appear funny right now, but why do I repeat it? Because there are students who directly replicate the same thing in your main essay, right? Please don't do that, that's a big blunder. This is just for your understanding, right? Can we move forward? Right? So now starting your essay with your historical background or your evolution of that particular thing. If it is women empowerment, how the situation or status of women has evolved over the years. Start thinking from ancient India, medieval India, British India, and then to the present times, right? So after your historical background is done, I'll again write down here. These topics are just to give order to your thoughts, that while you are thinking also, you think along these lines. And one thing I forgot to tell you, before you start writing your topic, your essay, please do some brainstorming along these topics, right? Because what happens is, when you see the essay topic, if you quickly just start writing it, in between you forget what are the different dimensions I have to discuss. You might have a very good examples at the start, but you might forget in between. So in that 1 hour which is given for one essay, please devote 5 minutes to just think that okay, anecdote, just write one line, that anecdote will be this story or this news. Introduction, I will write this. Then in the thesis part, historical background, just one word very quickly. So you have a framework with you available, and while you are writing you can refer it back that okay, I was thinking this. New ideas might come in between, but it should be in the framework which we are doing, right? And this framework will ensure that you will never have lack of content, you will never have lack of dimension, and your thinking process becomes very easy, right? It's not that you go into the exam, you don't know how to start, how to in the middle of the essay, what to introduce, right? Now you have a proper framework, you learn this framework, you write all your essay in this form, and you will get marks. This has been a tried and tested thing, right? Okay, moving forward. So thesis we have first, we will include the historical part, or you can say historical background or the evolution of that particular thing, right? Second will, in your second part, after we are done with your, what do you say, the historical part, there are 2-3 things. Causal factors can be there, so it depends upon what kind of essay is coming. It will be clear as we move forward. Significance or importance of that particular topic, right? Say example, your globalization topic is there, you are done with the historical background, how it started. Even if we are talking about ancient trade also, that is also a starting point of globalization, when world started to get connected, right? When there were different people who were conducting different voyages, right? They were discovering different parts of the world. That was also part of connecting the world together, right? After you are done with this, you write the causal factors, at what is responsible for this globalization. Or if you are writing about your women empowerment, what are the causal factors of your women empowerment, right? Or say we are talking about the Chinese aggression, right? What are the causes of this Chinese aggression? You will start from the causal factors, right? Now when you are writing causal factors, there is one more framework is there, which we call PESSL approach. Again, it is for your thinking. You might think there can be political factors, there can be economic factors, there can be social factors, there can be legal factors, there can be technological factors, there can be environmental factors, right? Then this is not just an indicative list, there can be psychological factors also, personal factors also, lot many factors can be there, but when you are thinking about causes, try to think along these lines. Any topic, right? Women empowerment, how it has happened. Chinese aggression, what are the reasons, what are the political reasons, or what are the strategic reasons, right? So, or what are the economic reasons behind it, right? So, all these things you have to write in the causal factors, and this will aid you. Even if you have not read about that topic, if you think about this PESTLE approach, you might generate 2 or 3 points in your essay, right? So, our basic aim is this only. See, essay topic, essay, am I audible? So, essay topic is such, the list is vast, right? I cannot complete each and every essay in the class, humanly not possible. Even if you start today, even if you have 1 full year also, you cannot cover each and every topic in the world, right? That is not possible, but through this framework, we are trying to make a general order to help us create dimensions, to help us create points for our essay, right? So that in your topic, if you have just read even a little bit about that topic, right, you know the framework, you will be able to fit something into your essay topic, right? So that at least if not 90 marks, at least 60, 70 you can, even if you didn't have much knowledge about the topic, but that framework was there. So in exam it will help you to think that okay, I have to think in these lines, right? Are we clear about these things, right? So causal factors of that particular thing will come here, right? As we move forward in our classes, we will see that what are the different topics which we are covering, how to tackle this causal part, right? Say again, if I take example of empowerment of women, myth or reality, right? If you are addressing the first part that okay, it is a myth, right? So now why is it a myth? What are the reasons for it? That why women empowerment has not happened up till now, right? So myth in the form of, you can write the institution of patriarchy is there, their proper jobs are not there, they are not financially independent, that is why empowerment is not there, they do not have education, that is why empowerment is not there, they do not have proper skills, that is why they are not empowered, they are married early and their decision making ability goes very down, that is why they are not empowered. Because of early marriages, your fertility age increases, more children, because of that you are limited to the household, that is another reason you are not empowered, right? So like this you have to think about the causes of that particular thing, right? Any issue doesn't happen in vacuum, right? Like tomorrow we will discuss an essay about Israel-Palestine also. There are certain causal factors. There is a historical background to the Israel-Palestine issue, right? So all these things have to be tackled in this manner. So if you are writing about Israel and Palestine, first you will see what is the historical background. If you have read the world history, there were certain accords, Abraham Accords were there, right? Then Balfour Declaration was there, which is the main issue why the origin of the Israel-Palestine issue lies in Balfour Declaration, right? We will discuss these things, right? So basic aim, what I am trying to explain is that every issue will have certain history. Anything doesn't appear suddenly, right? Even if it is a conflict, even if it is about empowerment, even if it is about globalization, right? There will be some evolution, some context that you have to write it in your essay, right? Are we clear here, right? Now next will be, you will write what is the significance, what is the importance, right? Or what is the impact of particular thing, right? So if you are writing about women empowerment, you write what is the significance, why do we need women empowerment, right? Or if it is a question about Chinese aggression, here the question will change. Why do we need to take this Chinese aggression seriously? Even if they are renaming anything doesn't, on face of it, it doesn't mean anything. You rename anything, tomorrow you will say that we will call this particular village by different name, you can do it, right? We will not agree, but there is an importance to it, because this is the start of the aggression. Tomorrow they will capture that area also, right? So you have to write down that what can be the impact or consequences, right? It depends upon the topic. Either it will be significance, either it will be importance, or impact or consequences. I am telling you all different possibilities which can be there according to the essay topic, right? Are we understanding the things? Right? This will become a little more clear when we will start discussing the essay topics, but the basic idea, are you understanding how to go about in your essay? Because 800 words is a lot of words, right? You need to have different dimensions in your essay, and like I told you, why students are not getting good marks in essay, because there is a very one-sided essays there. You'll just, if they are writing about women empowerment, or say they are writing about Chinese aggression, they'll fill all the pages with just say probably causes, or they just the full essay will be constituting about different incidents which happened, which can be termed as aggression, right? Now this essay lacks substance, it lacks dimensions, right? So when I say dimensions, I mean a complete post-mortem of that topic. Everything which can be possible, history, causes, significance, impact, right, consequences, whatever thing is possible about that essay, that should be included in your essay. And that is what is expected out of you, right? If they just had to ask about causes of Chinese aggression, they would have asked you in your GS paper. Why would they ask a whole essay topic, right? If they had to just ask you about, just the mechanism of surrogacy, why would they have asked you to write a 800 words essay on surrogacy, right? Because they want you to analyze that particular topic in a holistic manner. Every part, every dimension related to the topic should be covered in your essay, right? And that should be your main aim when you are writing essay. Dimensions, I am already telling you. I am telling you in which line your thoughts should flow, right? And this will make your work very easy. Even I always say, like, obviously you have to read through current affairs, etc., but still a very difficult topic also comes in your paper. If you have this framework in mind, you will be able to create points, right? Because somewhere or other you might have read something, right? So at least you will have some points with you, and you will have some order with you. At least you will not get 10 or 15 marks, you will get good marks. This is, like, I am telling, a rare situation. I want all of you to get good marks. I want all of you to have marks in the range of 100 and 120. But still, the paper might be difficult, or there might be a situation where you are not able to write something. But if this framework is in your mind, points will automatically get generated, right? Are we clear here? So this part is your thesis part of your essay. Now next comes the antithesis part. Antithesis means opposite views. So through your thesis part, you have told the causal factors, and also in the thesis part, another thing which can come, which is not common for all essays, is types. Say some essay on tourism has come, so there are different types of tourism also you can write about, right? Or there is a essay say on surrogacy also. There are types of surrogacy also. Commercial is there, altruistic surrogacy is there, right? So wherever possible, see if there are certain types of that particular topic you can include. And always remember, this is not an exhaustive list that for every essay there will be types, or for every essay there will be something on significance, right? This is just an indicative that most of the essay, there might be an essay which might have all the three things: significance, impact, your historical also, historical anyhow will have, and types also. But there might be some essay where this types will not be there. Women empowerment types you cannot write, there are no types of women empowerment, there is just one term which means that you are uplifting women, you are empowering women, making her capable enough to take her own decisions, right? So depends upon essay topic to different topics. But again, I am giving you this list. This is common for any type of essay which you will be attempting, right? Okay, moving forward. Now the antithesis part, that is the opposite views. So now you should remember that just telling the concept like explaining its meaning, telling its historical background is not enough, right? You have to give an opposite view also. When we say about opposite view, it means that some criticism, say if you are talking about Chinese aggression, you have discussed about causes, history also, types also. Now you have to here criticize that India's efforts have not been up to the mark, right? You criticize India's handling of that situation, right? Or another part can be, two parts can be here. Criticism about India's handling, and secondly about your Chinese propaganda also, that how they are so aggressive towards each country, right? In Nepal also they are doing something, in Maldives they are also doing something, right? Criticizing that why they are doing this, we want to live in a peaceful coexistence we want, but still they are doing all these things, right? Criticism part forms your antithesis, where you tell the opposite views, right? Say that essay is there which I showed you, the empowerment of women, myth or reality, right? In the thesis part, first you write the reality part, that okay, politics, we will discuss that essay in detail. You write the positive points about women empowerment, how it is present in India, right? Now the opposite part, because it is already given in the essay topic, myth, where you criticize that women empowerment, on top layer it looks like everything is good, but if we go deeper, right, still there are so many problems, right? Say for example, today also sexual harassment is happening, rape is also happening, right? Dowry deaths are happening, right? So it is a myth only. In some areas we have done progress. Today women are studying, women are going for higher studies, right? But still there are some areas in which your women empowerment remains a myth, right? That criticism part will come in the second part of the essay. So one thing you have to keep in mind is you don't mix up different things, right? That you are first writing, first point is about women empowerment being reality, second point is about being a myth, right? Separate both the things, right? So that an order is there, that first you have, and in fact here if you want a topic for your help, you can give that women empowerment a reality. You write down the points in not points but in the paragraph form, everything is included. Then when you move on to the antithesis part, here you write down, you can give a topic women empowerment, a myth, and then you write down different points. So there has to be a segregation between thesis and antithesis. Don't mix up the concepts. That is another factor why people are not getting marks. Mixing up different, opposing views. So when you say, you might have seen that in colleges and schools, right, debates happen, right? So there is always a segregation. First people for the motion will speak, and then after that against the motion will speak, right? It's not that there is a mix up of the speakers is there, that one speaker is for, other is against. So first all the people who are telling about the for will speak, and then after that whatever opposite view is there, they will speak. Right? So similarly in your essay there has to be order, right? You have to write down in a manner in which first you tell about the thesis, you tell about whatever causes, significance is there. Okay, if it is like an essay I told you, if it's the topic only they have written myth or reality, so they're already segregated it for you, right? So you write it is a reality, and then after you move on to the next part, here you have to criticize it, right? So see, with this, see, you are going to become you part of the bureaucracy, right? You will become civil servants. So what is the basic thing which is expected out of you in very simple terms is that you are unbiased, right? You are able to recognize a problem and then do a 360-degree analysis that okay, if I take this action, what will be the positive impact, what will be the negative impact. That is the basic thing which they are expecting out of you. Similar thing should get reflected in your essay, where you show your examiner that I am a person who can take unbiased decision, because if you have given me this topic, I can tell its positive points also, I can tell its negative points also, right? And in a very ordered fashion, right? So why they are making you write so many papers? They are trying to test your personality through your answers. They are trying to judge, are you unbiased, are you neutral, right? Are you capable enough to know different issues also? It's not that you are just interested in political issue, you're not interested about your economic issues. So through these papers, they are judging you. Now that interview is not only there, right? These papers become very, very important, because through this only you are telling your personality to the examiner, right? APPSC also interview is not there. It is there, okay, it's for TSPSC they have cut down. Anyhow, so your this part, mains part, will tell the examiner that you are knowledgeable enough, you are not biased. Now in the interview they will check your personality. There the information part they have already checked in your mains, right? In the interview they will check your personality. But before that stage, you have to convey through your answers, through your essay, that yes, I have those capabilities. Right, I am unbiased. See my essay, I have explored every possible dimension here. Right? Are we clear here? Okay. Now this will be your antithesis part. Now antithesis part can be criticism, or it can be about challenges. Right? Challenges can be another part. If you are talking about your women empowerment, you have written about it as a myth. Next you can write down what are the challenges, why India in 2024 also has not been able to treat the other half of the population equally, why they are not empowered, why they are restricted to the kitchens, why labor force participation is still low, right? So this challenges, that why this is happening, can also be a part, right? Then in some essays you can talk about drawbacks also. Right? Say Chinese aggression topic is there, you can discuss that whatever techniques India is employing right now to stop the Chinese aggression, these are the drawbacks, right? How our border management is not proper, right? So different things can be there to connect your different parts of your essay. So either it can be a criticism, either it can talk about challenges or drawbacks, depends on what type of topic is being asked. In some essays, there might be a combination that you have space or topic is such, you can criticize it also, you can write about challenges also, right? So you have to, when you come to this part of your essay, you have to think about an opposing view, right? What are the drawbacks, what are the challenges, what is the critical analysis of that particular issue, right? Because this will make it balanced. See, your balanced views are very important, that your positive and negative views are very balanced in nature, right? You should not come across a person who is very biased, right? You should convey that I know the positive consequences, I know the negative consequences, right? So, as a civil servant, I will, if any problem comes in front of me, I will analyze in this manner, right? If you have a problem in front of you, say there is a tension between two religious communities, right? And if you are thinking about some step, so as a civil servant, you will see that, okay, if I take this step, what will be the positive impact, what will be the negative impact, right? So through your essay topics, you are conveying to the examiner that I am capable enough, right? Because I have written about this essay in 800 words and it is a very balanced essay. This ideological balance is very important, right? If you are writing a very biased view, right? Say you are writing about Chinese aggression and you are just writing a very rosy picture that no, everything is fine, India is doing the best, right? There's nothing extra needs to be done. So you're doing a very biased picture, you're not analyzing the situation. Yes, India has done some good, steps to stop these things, but again there are certain loopholes also, right? Here you can include, if the topic allows some about any loopholes also. So these are just synonyms which can change according whatever essay topic is there, right? So you tell both the pictures that yes, we are taking steps, right? But again, on the other side, there are certain drawbacks also, there are certain challenges, there are certain loopholes in our policy also, right? Now with this, it becomes a ideologically balanced essay, right? Your personal opinion might be anything, right? You might be a rightist, you might be a leftist, right? You might be politically neutral, but that should not reflect in your essay paper. In your essay paper, you should come across as a very zen kind of person who is very balanced in the approach, who analyzes every component of the problem, who knows what is the history, who knows what is the cause, who knows what is the significance, what is the impact, what is the consequence, right? And here, in fact, antithesis, any negative impact which is there, it can come here, negative impact or consequences, right? So there is numerous possibilities, right? We are just trying to understand in the first class that how these numerous possibilities we can explore in an essay so that we can write a very impactful 800 words essay, right? Are we clear here? So this balanced approach is the most important thing. So the people who are not getting marks, first of all, the major reason is this only, very biased approach, right? Not attending to the main demand of the question. Essay is not relevant, writing irrelevant things more and relevant things less. Time management is poor. You write a very good introduction and you waste half an hour in writing that introduction. Half an hour, how will you cover up with all the components? Right? You have to make sure that in 10-15 minutes, I should be over with my anecdote, I should be over with my introduction part. So that next major part of my 1 hour is devoted to your body of your essay, so that I can maximize my marks here. So at least 40-45 minutes I am giving to the body of the essay, right? So you have to train yourself in this manner to maximize marks, because maximizing marks is not that you can read all the essay model essays, right? You can cover all the current affairs, right? But writing in a competitive exam is very different. You have to think about multiple factors. My structure has to be correct, my content has to be good, my time management has to be good, right? I should be knowing what to write, what not to write. My essay should be balanced. When you cover all these topics, then you will approach this thing, right? There might be people who, are good with the content, but if the other part is missing, again you will score less, right? So in case has anyone given APPSC before out of you? How many marks did you get in essay? 16. So analyze your things, like where you went wrong. So people who have given, for online students also, if you have given your exam, after this class go back and see that what were the gaps in your essay, right? What were the drawbacks, what things you didn't write, or if in case you feel that okay, I was covering these areas and you still feel that okay, I wrote a good essay, you come and meet me. You tell me this was my approach, but still I got less marks, right? We will work on it. So try to utilize this one-to-one interaction also, because in the class say it's a very generalistic approach, right? But whatever we are teaching is general for all. But there might be people who might have different personal issues also while writing essay. So that is where your personal mentorship comes. You come, you tell on a piece of paper, you write down that okay, these are my problems, or if you have written essay before also, right, come and get it checked. I will tell you these are the problems in your essay writing and this is how you can improve in this, right. So please make use. Why I am telling again and again is because again after the classes, if you are not writing, if you are not showing it to me, then again this year also same situation will be there. You will be getting only 60-70 marks. Your half part is me telling you how to write, next half part is you writing it, you practicing that particular thing, right. Are we clear about these things, right? So, anecdote, introduction, thesis part, antithesis part, right. This is the body of your essay, right. So, now again depending upon essay to essay, your whatever dimensions you are covering might change, but then this will depend upon your, I think you are giving this competitive exam, you are capable enough to recognize which dimension will be covered in this particular essay, which might not get covered, and there might be something beyond this also, right. Generally this framework will work for all essay, but there might be some essays where you might have to think about other things also, right. And as we move further in the classes, we will see some essays will require certain extra points also. We will cover on like need to know basis, right. Are we clear here? Okay, I'll just have water. Give me 2 minutes. Any doubts if you have, please ask. And please next 7 classes are there. So the pattern of your classes will be in such in which we'll have interactive classes, right. Your keys will be given at the end of the class. So in the class I want you tell about what you think, right. If you are writing about any essay topic in the class, what anecdote you think can be written, right. So if there are people sitting there and there are 50 people sitting here, 50 there are online, you tell me about the anecdote which you can think about it. So on one single topic, say even if 10 people, 20 people will tell different anecdotes, so you have a ready-made material available with you, right. And different people, say everybody's brain work in a very different manner, right. So in the class we will make sure that through different brains we have lot many points for that single particular essay, right. Just 1 minute. So now with writing of this essay, now end parts come, the conclusion part where we have to wrap up the things, right. So conclusion part, I like to call it as, so we did thesis, we did antithesis, and we will end with a synthesis, right. We had 2 counterpoints. Now we have to end the essay. Now we will see that okay, now next what, we know the positive thing, we know the negative thing, what next has to be done? We have to do a synthesis of these thoughts, right. Or you can say a way forward. So as a bureaucrat, it's not just important to know what can be the positive impact or what can be the negative impact, you have to give solutions also, right. So those solutions should be at the end where you will tell what can be done now. Chinese aggression is there, okay, what steps need to be taken now? Women empowerment, myth, reality, both the things you have discussed, what next has to be done, right. Or if you are talking about globalization, you have discussed the positive impact, you have discussed the negative impact, now what the government has to do, right. That will form your end part of your essay, right? And this part is very important because see, you have to come up to some conclusion, right? So if you are telling some points at some point of time, when you're giving your arguments, at the end of the day you conclude that okay, in the end I mean this, right? Or this has to be done, so that your essay has some closure, right? It should not be open ended that you're given all the things positive, negative, now the examiner should decide what he wants. No, you have to tell that okay, I am closing up this essay, this is my final statement, these are my solutions which have to be taken, right? That will end your essay, that will make it very holistic in nature, right? Where you have analyzed it also, and at the end you have given the solutions to that particular thing, right? So when I talk about the way forward, right, first of all, in conclusion, see, APPSC essays are mostly factual, right? Very factual things are coming. So there is a possibility, say if we are talking about women empowerment or anything, some government initiatives might have been there already, right? And in the government initiatives, always try to include something from the AP perspective also, right? If in women empowerment some AP scheme is there, right? Or say for example for surrogacy there might be some scheme, right? Or if you are writing about agriculture, the topic is there. So try to include some AP specific things also. So today do this exercise also, make a list of AP initiatives which have been there according to the genre of your essay, right? Any current affair, any socio-political scheme, socio-environmental scheme which you feel which can be written here, because it's a state exam, right? Government of India schemes also you can write, but if it becomes AP specific, right, again you will get that extra 1 or 2 points, right, because you are writing from your state perspective, right. So here first you write what the initiatives already have been taken first, right. Second, you move on to your own novel suggestions. Right? What you think can be done. At the end of the day, essay is all about you. What do you think about this particular issue? So next can be your suggestion regarding that, right? You write down that I think this has to be done, right? Or any out of the box thinking you can do that, okay, this step can be taken, or this step, you know, might lead to more empowerment of the woman, or whatever topic is there, right? So government initiatives, AP specific if possible, your own suggestions, and then at the end you can write certain best practices also. Now best practices in different states in India or in the world. Say the topic is on health, so best practice you can write about Delhi's Mohalla clinics, right? That's a best practice. Then if you see on the world level, in Cuba, there is a consultorio model of your health system. Consultorio model is very similar to Mohalla clinics only. So in Cuba, what they have done is, for every small neighborhood, they have assigned one nurse and one medical practitioner, right? So the nurse has a job to regularly, say twice a month, she has to visit in her area, she has to visit all the household, take account of infants, if proper nutrition is there, proper breastfeeding is being done, if aged people are there, proper diagnostic tests are done. So because see, if aged people are there, they need regular tests, right? They have to monitor your heart, they have to monitor your cholesterol levels, different indicators in the blood they have to. So this, what happened with this model in Cuba was that your diseases were getting stopped at the prevention level only. Right? Right now what happens is, why our hospitals are so overcrowded? Because that prevention thing is missing, right? Directly the person, whenever the disease become, deadly or becomes impossible to treat at the local level, so all people start thronging to your big hospitals, right? So Cuba said that why not treat it at the lower level? Why not recognize what is happening if some changes are there in the aged person or even in middle aged person? Okay, that person's BP is high because we have been monitoring it. So we can at the start only we can treat that person, instead that okay some attack happens or heart disease develops. Before that only we will see cholesterol level you see high, that okay we will start telling that okay do these lifestyle changes so that it doesn't move to the cardiovascular disease, right. So these steps were taken in Cuba. So it resulted in a less crowding of the big hospitals there, and your disease rates also came down because of this med. So this is a best practice in health system, right. You can quote it, you can quote Delhi's example that this can be done all over India, right. Or if AP specific thing you scheme you can scale, you can fit somewhere, you can say that okay that scheme is very good, that can be replicated all over India, right. Education system, some education system related topic comes, your Nordic countries, your Finland is there, all these countries they are very good in the education system. When very important thing about their education system is their teachers are very well paid, right. In India teachers are not that, like if you see the primary teachers or your kindergarten teachers, they are very lowly paid, specifically if you go in the private sector. Today also you will find a teacher who is in your primary private sector, you will find they are merely earning 20,000 rupees, 25,000 rupees, right. So these Nordic countries, they realize that if teachers are very highly paid, first of all we will attract a very good talent here, right. It will not be that a person who couldn't do anything in the life, then he or she is becoming a primary teacher, right. We will have a good talent here, and also because see at the end of the day in society if you have greater economic power you have more respect, right. That profession will have more respect, right. So unfortunately if you see bureaucracy also, right, why there is so much importance, okay power is there, but at the end the very unfortunate reason is that because of corruption the civil servants have become very rich, right. So that is why every year so many people are so much interested in giving this exam, and that is very unfortunate, right. So anyhow if we talk about the education system, they realized with money there comes a respect, so they made their teachers very highly paid, one of the best paid professions in the country, and automatically it saw results. When you have good teachers, they will teach well to the kindergarten students, to the primary students, and obviously your future of your nation is secured, right. So if any essay about education system come, you can write this example that this can be replicated, right. Similarly if you see, if there is a topic on corruption, Singapore, it's a very small country, so they realized that why corruption is happening, because the cutting edge when I say cutting edge bureaucracy means your small clerks are there or your your constables are there, right. These are cutting edge bureaucracy which have daily face to face interaction. If you become a group A officer, the daily interaction is very low, but these people, this cutting edge bureaucracy, they have a lot of interaction, and these are the most lowly paid things. If a constable is there 12 to 14 hours, he is just standing on the streets, right, or he is managing the traffic and he is getting very low income, right. So I am not justifying corruption, but again it's a human psyche. He might move towards corruption, that I have also take care of my family, this no justification is not there, but still the human psyche will be in this manner. So now in Singapore what they have done is, they have again they've increased the pay of your bureaucrats high, and also their checks and balances are also very strong. The corruption is almost 0% in your Singapore. You will never find a corrupt bureaucrat in Singapore, right. It's a very small country, right, and they have done so good for themselves. You can just Google today and just see their airport only, right, Singapore airport, the Changi airport is there. You will realize the level of development they have done. And if you go a little further in their history, when Singapore got separated from your Malaysia, it's a city only which has converted. When it got separated from Malaysia, the Prime Minister, the first Prime Minister, he actually cried on the television that what we are going to do now, right. But they have done very well for themselves, because the systems which they placed in their bureaucracy, in the general economic structure, they have done very good for themselves, right. So again this is a best practice. If any question is about corruption topic is there, right, you can include these things in your essay topic. Only difference is if there is a question about corruption, say in ethics part, you can just write for example in Singapore. but if it is an essay, you elaborate it. Right? So this will make your essay look very good, right? If you are following all these steps, right? The framework is there, proper order is there, proper coherence is there in your essay, very easily you will get marks. At least more than 60-70 you can, 60-70 is like a very average marks you can have, and people have got 90 marks, people have got 100 marks also, right? So now with this framework, first of all your work becomes very easy. In the next classes, whatever essay we will be discussing, you should have this framework in your mind, right? You should be knowing that okay, this is the manner in which I have to proceed further. And before writing essay, brainstorming, and in the class also we will include this practice. I'll give you one topic, 10-15 minutes you will think that what anecdote, how to introduce, body of your essay, what dimensions I have to include, antithesis part, what is the criticism, challenges, drawbacks, and how to conclude. 10-15 minutes you will practice here, because I know when you go back home, again I can give you the key at the start only, but again it's spoon feeding, because same topic will not come in your examination, very different topics will come, right? So in your class itself we will have these sessions, and then after that we will discuss, and at the end of the class you will get a model key, right? All the points will be written, proper elaboration, everything is given. Every model essay key is 7 to 8 page long, right? So whole essay will be there, so you don't worry about it. But in the class, focus on brainstorming about a particular issue, right? At that point of time, don't search internet, don't, just think about from your side. Even if you are able to think about 2 points, it's okay, but at least in the class things, and over the time in the next 7 classes you will realize, in the second class and the third class automatically you will have those points, right? But you have to do effort from your side, right? You don't have to cheat yourself, right? Because see, your brain is such that it widens its horizon only if you ask it to work, right? Only when you practice something, only when you think hard about something, right? Right now it might appear very easy, but when you pick up a topic and when you start thinking about it, then you realize that okay, it's little difficult, right? How to connect the things, and how to connect all these parts also we will discuss tomorrow, right? We will see, as we take up the different essays, we will see that how different parts, like after anecdote I have told you, you pose questions, after introduction how to move to the historical background, how to, after historical background move to the causes part, right? We will see, because this connectivity is also very important, right? So I will just see few questions, then we will discuss one small essay. ऑनलाइन स्क्रॉल करना है उधर से होगा, इधर से नहीं. इसको लैपटॉप को या तो नीचे स्क्रॉल करो. Next. You can scroll. आगे. So 2-3 things I have seen. First of all, a person has asked about handwriting. See, if your handwriting is good, then obviously at 1 mark, half a marks you will get. ये scroll करने के लिए उधर screen से connect नहीं होता?
इससे connect नहीं होता.
अच्छा, ये difficult हो रहा है या यहाँ पर mouse connect कर दो. So handwriting, see, if you have a good handwriting, obviously 1 mark extra. You also, if you see some paper, some toppers paper and you see good handwriting, obviously it's pleasing to eye, it is aesthetic, obviously, right? But it doesn't mean you will get 10 extra marks. Okay, 1, 2 extra marks will be there and probably a good impression will be there, right? If you don't, one thing you have to remember that your writing should be legible. That's the only thing, right? The person should not stress reading your essay that okay, what is this word that person is written, right? If your handwriting is not very good, it's okay, but at least it should be visible to the examiner that okay, this word is this, but he should not read something wrong. So at least try to write in such a manner that words are visible, their spellings are correct, right? That is the only expectation. If you have a good handwriting, well and good. If you don't have, but please make sure it is legible, it is understandable, and don't use short forms, please, right? If it is a well-known abbreviation, then it's okay, right? But please don't use your short, while you are making notes, sometimes you use, right? So please don't, like I usually when I write with, I use like this in my notes, or which if I am writing, I use like this, right? So obviously this you don't have to replicate it in your examination, right? So these few things you have to keep in mind, otherwise handwriting, like I told you, just should be visible to the eyes, should be understandable, that's it. Now next is all the 3 essays same approach, anecdote. Yes, see, if I am talking about this structure, anecdote, introduction, body and conclusion, this is not for one essay, this is for all genre of essay, right? All the essays have to be tackled in the same manner. Like I told you, some essays there might be in the thesis part and the body part of their essay, there might not be types, not be there, or significance might not be there, depend upon topic to topic, but the approach remains same for all the 3 essays, right? So different topics will be there, and one thing you have to keep in mind, when you are choosing different essays in 3 sections, try to include different topics, don't choose similar topics, right? If you have covered already a topic which is related to women issues, if in part B there is not same but something similar is there, please try to choose something different, because your points will be same, right? Your anecdote might also look similar, then you have already, like you just replicated your previous essay. So like this, choose your topics very judiciously, that they are not related to each other, so that you have different points which are different from the previous essays which you have covered. Then can introduction, how to connect introduction questions. This connectivity part we will discuss tomorrow, because we need to discuss the whole essay to tell you that how, if you are moving from one part of your essay to another, how to connect the different topics we will cover. Then can introduction be given in multiple paragraphs or single? See, this depends upon you. You can use multiple paragraphs also, 1 or 2. Like I told you, introduction has to be covered in 75 to 100 marks, right? Write a big paragraph, and after that if you have 2-3 lines, you can write a second paragraph also. That depends upon your writing style, and no hard and fast rule is there. Presented in essay to be presented in points form. See, points, it's a big no. Please don't write your essay in points. Have you ever seen a newspaper editorial in points? Right? There are different paragraphs are there. No person who is writing in newspaper, your essays can be equated to editorial only. No person writes in points. So please don't write your essay in your point manner. Reserve it for your GS answers. Right? You have to write your essay in paragraphs. That one thing you have to remember. Then second point is heading and subheadings. So now personally I avoid using headings and subheadings because I feel it disrupts the flow, right? But there are people who write it and it has worked for them. So if you don't feel comfortable, like tomorrow we'll discuss how to connect different essay paragraphs. So if you are having problem in connecting the previous essay paragraph with the next paragraph, then probably you can make use of the subheadings, right? But don't overdo it. Like I told you, use very concise things. Like if you are writing about, say, like I told you, artificial intelligence, you can give a topic, artificial intelligence a boon, and then you can have different paragraphs about that. And next essay topic, subheadings can be, it is a bane, right? If you want to, if you are not understanding how to connect the essay paragraphs, then probably one or two subheadings you can use. But I would suggest that try to, avoid these things, not more than one or two subheadings. Don't overdo that things. Then again it becomes an answer kind of thing rather than an essay, right? So that whole charm of essay goes away if there is overuse of the headings. Somewhere there is emergency, you cannot connect, then it's fine, right? But one thing which is not, I would say, prohibited but should not be done is writing in points, right? You will be doing a disservice to your essay paper if you are writing in points, right? Then flow charts and graphs, no. Again, you should not use any flow charts, graphs, reserve it for your GS answers. Anyhow, you have 1 hour only, how much time you have for your making graphs and flow charts, right? 800 words you have to write down. So please, flow charts and graphs again disrupts the flow of the essay, right? In between where you will fix that diagram, right? So avoid those things. Then what is the relevance of historical background, as we have already eaten more words in anecdote and introduction? Eaten. This is another dimension of it. That is what I have told you. You have to, anecdotes purpose is interesting, start. Introduction's purpose is to explain the keywords. Historical background is to give a context, right? A historical context to it, right? Say for example, if you come with a, you want to get mentorship for me, right? So first when you sit down, you will tell about your background. Obviously you will tell that, okay, I have studied, my graduation background is this, I have given 2 attempts, I have not been able to, say for example, clear, I am facing these problems. So every situation starts with history only. You cannot understand a problem, you cannot understand a topic until and unless you know the background. If I have to suggest you something, I have to suggest you what, say I want to tell you what optional to take in UPSC, say for example, right? So if you tell me that, okay, I have done my graduation BA PSIR, say for example, I have done in political science. So obviously if I know this background, I will tell you that most, sense makes that you take PSIR as an optional because this is your graduation subject, right? That is why in essay also, any problem cannot be discussed until we get into its issue. If you are discussing Israel and Palestine issue, right? If you are not discussing what is the origin, right? Historical background is also about the origin, another name if you want to give, right? Origin of that particular thing or evolution of that particular thing, right? And now if that person is saying that we have already written anecdote and introduction, it's not about words, right? You can shorten your anecdote, you can shorten your introduction. It is about writing more dimensions, discussing that particular topic in multiple ways, right? And without talking about its origin, right? How will you explain other things? If you're talking about Indo-China relationships, you have to first talk about how the relations started, how the relations were before, right? Or if you're talking about women empowerment, you have to first discuss how the status of women was there before and how it slowly deteriorated, right? So all these things should be included in your essay. You cannot discuss anything without telling about its origin. Like I gave you an example. You first, if you come up with a problem to me, you will first tell your background. You will first tell the origin of that problem. And because of that origin, I will be able to give you better solutions. If I am totally oblivious of the fact that where you are staying, what is your education background, what was your probably previous answers if you don't show me, right? I might not be able to tell you the exact thing. So the same thing should be there. It's not about exhausting words, right? Mind you, I'm not saying that with this parameters we are trying to cover, exhaust our words because we have to write down 800 words. We are trying to cover every possible dimension about that, right? We are giving an interesting start, we are explaining the key terms, we are telling how it got originated, what is the historical background. We are discussing the causes, we are discussing the significance, impact, consequences, we are discussing criticism, challenges, right? And then we are giving at the end the solutions. So here we have covered a full circle, right? Words have to be there 800. But our aim is not that we are not writing more dimension to cover 800 words. We are writing because we want to have a holistic essay, right? So remember these things. Okay, next, how do challenges and drawbacks? See, again, these are mostly synonyms. Depends upon your essay to essay. The essay topics might be in such a manner that you have to write about challenges, or you might have to see the drawbacks of that particular issue. It will depend upon topic to topic. We will see as we move further. So what I am trying to convey here is that topic to topic, different dimensions might change, right? For some topics, there might be certain challenges, right? For some topic, you just have to criticize certain different steps. So depending upon the tone of the topic, you have to change the tone of your discussion also. Connecting the paragraphs, we will discuss how to resolve it, and also after tomorrow's class, please write one essay or show your old essays also, so that I can give a better feedback that how connectivity is missing here or how you can connect these two paragraphs. Can we start with a quote instead of anecdote? Yeah, you can start, but see, if one thing is there, if your reflective topic is also there in your essay. So like there is one previous year question, truth is beauty, beauty is truth, right? So now it is already a quote is there. So if you again your essay topic is a quote and you start with some different quote, right? It doesn't look good because they have already given you in a quote form. Other than other topics, if you have some good quotes, you can start with that. It's okay, right? For APPSC essay, you can start with a quote, but again, like I am saying, is anecdote might be a better way to start with it, right? That quote you might fit somewhere else in the body of your essay. Start, if it is with anecdote, it is very good, but again, it is not a compulsion. If you have a quote, if you cannot think anecdote in your examination, although as we move further in the classes, we will see, we can just make up some story. Anecdote is not difficult to write down. You make up some story related with that and your job is done, right? But again, if you have a very good quote and you remember it, you can start your essay, no problem. But don't start it in your reflective topics. Finished my coaching, I have to cover significant portion of GS, should I write? Yeah, there's no problem. Whatever essay topics which we are covering, content will be there in the class itself, right? But from your side, if you are writing mains this year, cover this current affair parts is very important, because if we see the other genre of essay also, say your environmental or political, they are mostly based on current affairs only. They are straightforward questions. So knowledge of current affairs is very important here, right? Can be right historical. No, again I have told you that this subheadings of historical background challenges as side heading should not be written in your main essay. APPSC 20 which would not release it. See, word limit is 800 words only. I have referred it in multiple areas. It is 800 words only. So, you pages, so depend upon again like your font size, it depends, right? You have to see if it is getting covered in 5 pages or 4 pages, but words have to be 800, right? That is for sure. Can we start with the quote? Yes, like I've told you. Conclusion length. Conclusion again depends. Last major words have to come in your body of your essay. Your rest 70 words, 100 words or 150 words can come up to your conclusion depending upon your matter you have for your essay. Next. Graphs, flowcharts, know how many pages expected to rise. We have 44 blank pages. Again, see, you have to write one essay, see from your font size 800 words come up to which page, 4 pages, 5 pages, 6 pages. You have 44 blank pages, you have to adjust your content accordingly. Shall we use graphs? No. How many pages we should write? Again, same question, depends upon your, you just write one essay, count the words till where your 800 words usually come, right? And then decide for the diagrammatic representation. No, avoid those things. See, allowed, they have not written as such in the syllabus that you are not allowed to make those things, but there is a way in which you write particular things. So, graphs, diagrams, just avoid these things. Should we take a stand relevant to essay topics? No, see, stand in the essay topic, say if the essay topic is should reservation be ended. Don't start your essay, yes it should be ended or no it should not be ended. Stand should not be there at the start. Like I told you, slowly build the essay, write an anecdote, write introduction. One side of the picture, yes it has to be abolished. Other side of the picture, no it should not be abolished. And in the conclusion you come up that right now representation is still low for the Dalits, but still there has to be a sunset clause, right? Probably the rich people, say for example 2-3 generations have already availed reservation, for them probably we can have, or we can keep that okay if 4 generations social mobility group A service they have gone, or business this much turnover they are getting, we will disbar you from your reservation. Like that is already happening in your OBC reservation, creamy layer concept is there. So, in your conclusion probably you can say, you take a middle path here that okay probably we can have a sunset clause, we can introduce creamy layer concept in your essay also, so that over the years slowly it can be ended. At once we cannot end reservation because till now also representation of your Dalits is very low, but again there is a problem, only few castes, right, they are aggregating all the benefits of the caste system. Lowermost castes still are very poor, right? There will be some families who are getting this reservation already 3 to 4 generation, they are IS officers, they are IPS officers. For them probably we can think. Again it has to be done in a phased manner, not at once, right? So, stand at the end has to be a very balanced approach, right? Not a very extremist approach that no, just end it. That because that is not the way, that is not practical enough, right? And that cannot be done also, right? So, both the sides of the argument, both the sides of the coin, and at the end a synthesis of that thing. Any topic involves facts, yes, facts you can write down. If any statistics you have, right, you are writing about women empowerment, you know a statistic about that, okay, NCRB released this report, this percentage of rapes, or this much percentage of, say you are writing about anything, facts are there. If you are writing economic topics, right, you have certain points, so you can write the facts or statistics. See, questions which you have posed at the end of anecdote, usually you will address it in your body of your answer. There is one way of ending your essay is, say if you have started with the, like in the topic of your women empowerment, I started with story of Chanda Zaveri. So, what you can do is, your last line what you can do is, when you have written all the initiatives which can be done, you have written the best practices, you can write that if we follow these things, we can make sure that there are more Chandas Javeris, there are more billionaire women like this. So you have connected the starting with the end. This you can do. Right? This is one way of ending your topic. Whatever anecdote you started, at the end, last 1-2 line you can connect. That okay. This way I have made a full circle. Started with one thing and ended with other thing also. This is one thing you can write down. Current affair topics we will discuss in the class also, and you will at the end of the classes you will get a list also, probable list of current affairs from which essays can come. Yeah, we will be discussing certain important issues. Like I told you, every class 4 issues and list you will get. Reading Yojana magazine is important. Yes, you can read it. This, if you have time, you can read it. And sometimes Yojana magazine, I have seen one very important thing. Yojana magazine, at the start there is a preface kind of thing is there, right? That has a very good, sometimes a good story will be there, or in a very good English they have explained the entire thing, right? Because every month Yojana magazine has some theme. If you have been reading, just go through that, right? Otherwise, don't overload yourself with information. Your GS is more than enough, your current affairs is more than enough, right? If you have time, you can read Yojana. Yojana is only one magazine, I tell the aspirants, and okay, you can read it. Other than that, don't overload yourself with multiple sources. Keep your sources very constricted. Current affair, yes, you will get how to find examples for the body. We will discuss tomorrow. Everything will get how to count words. Yeah, every word is count words, page. You just a rough thing you have to do is you count the number of lines. You count the number of approximate words, that okay, in one page 10 lines are there and 5 words in each line, so 50 words covered in one page. So like this you can do. List of current, yes, list of current affairs will be given. So okay. So with this we have discussed the basic, structure which or framework which has to be followed in your essays, right? And as we have discussed, APPSC essays are mostly direct, right? They are mostly based on current affair. Even if you are talking about other genres of, except from the reflective thoughts, they are mostly centered around your current affairs. So at the end of the classes, you will get a list also of your current affairs. We are still, marking down what topics are important. You will get it. So apart from whatever 28-30 essays we will be discussing in the class, you will get a list. So that you have an idea, at least you can prepare some anecdote for each topic, or you can just write down, okay, these dimensions I can cover, so that you have a wider range of preparation, so that in exam something related might come with respect to that, right? So we will meet tomorrow, and in case anybody has already written an essay before also, after the class tomorrow you can show it to me, right? And on Tuesday, I would expect, let's see how many people show. On Tuesday, try to show one essay after the class, so that I can have an idea where is your level of preparation, what kind of way you are writing your essay, right? Thank you so much.